I can see Jay. Hello Jay, you will have to unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Sonia.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So, we begin our today's program. This is a part of our series called Boundless Education. And what is Boundless Education? It's about education that is beyond the boundaries of classroom, beyond the boundaries of textbooks. And Jay, this is the 11th session that I'm having with both of you. And I feel especially proud today because today is the Kargil Vijay Diwas, a special occasion for our country. And I'm able to celebrate this day with two honored people like Jay and Sonia, who have made not only our college proud, but also they are making country proud, and they will be making country proud in their career. Welcome Jay, Keni and Sonia Newaskar.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You have to say anything, Jay? You can say now as a welcome address.
I haven't actually prepared anything, but just two short words. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us the opportunity to interact with the students and other faculties who are joining us in this session, and for providing us a platform to showcase exactly what Army is, what are its contributions, and how Army has helped us shape our lives. There are definitely various options that can be explored by the students, and this is the way of life that we chose for ourselves. So if there's something that we can do to motivate the students, if there's any way that our story or our life can help them do better, then I think that would be our small bit to do towards nation building. And given
Yes.
that it's an occasion of Kargil Vijay Divas, and where a saga of courage, bravery and patriotism was fought,
Hmm.
it would be a great honor, it would be a great respect to those who have given their lives, and it would be a dream come true for them if we could do our bit in building our nation better.
Exactly, yes. And that is the reason I feel very happy today because just yesterday our lecturer Samir Khasnis sir mentioned that Jay is there with me. I'm in touch with him, and he is serving in. You are at Jhansi, both of you,
Yes.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it was such a good opportunity because I was thinking of having some alumnus who has joined the army, and you came in as a great, I would say, for this day, it's a great honor for TP Bhatia College of Science. And I'm sure the students who are listening today, and all of you, all the viewers, you will come to know that even a student who was aspiring to become an engineer, landing up in army, what must be going on in his mind, what he must be thinking about, what was his mindset, and how was he as a student when while he was in the college, because we have also your teacher Shailendra Gupta sir, Ashish sir, they are all here present today, and I have asked particularly to listen to what Jay has to say about. And I also can see that our computer science students have joined when they came to know that you were a computer science student.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So they requested that can we, and then they have specially prepared computer science lab there, and all of them are joining, whoever was there in the lab at this moment, because it's raining very heavily in Mumbai. But still, students who were there, they said, no, we want to hear, listen to Jay and Sonia. And we also have a very special student who's named himself Poisonously Sweet. I'm happy to see you here today, Poisonously Sweet. Okay. So, Boundless, I was telling you about Boundless Education. So, in this series, we have had so many educational live Instagram sessions with various people. And today, especially on the Kargil Divas, I welcome Jay, Keni, and Sonia Newaskar, who are serving in the Indian Army as Major Jay and Captain Sonia. So, I can recall when Samir sir was discussing with me that yes, I remember the name Jai Keni because I have heard about your name many times from teachers. You were a very good student, and So I want to ask you, Jay, you were, like I just now said, that you were a computer science student preparing for engineering entrance examinations. Maybe you have joined some coaching classes to come up to a certain level, and you also did your engineering for 1 year. So means
Yes.
you went into engineering, but thought of going into the army never left your mind. So we would like to
Yes.
hear from you how you landed up there. Yes, Jay.
Well, I have always had an affinity towards the army. It was one of my childhood dreams to join the army and do something for the nation. But there are certain avenues that we can approach while thinking of joining army. So we can join at a very basic soldier level, or we can join at an officer level. So I decided that I wanted to join at an officer level and do a greater good. In that specific dream, I wanted to come through NDA because the National Defence Academy, which is situated in Pune, is one of the premier academies in the nation, and it is the second best academy in the entire world for tri-services training. Tri-services basically means the Army, Navy, and Air Force. All three services students, cadets, and officers, they train together. So I wanted to join NDA. However, the opportunity to join NDA only comes after a 12th standard. And since the competition is very high, approximately 7 to 8 lakh students appear for National Defence Academy examination every 6 months, and approximately only 350 students get to join. So that is a percentage which is even lesser than the IITs. If by chance I was not able to make it, and before I could avail the next chance of joining National Defence Academy, I wanted to have a backup. And that backup was engineering. That in case I'm not able to join now, I'll explore other avenues which are available to me after graduation. For that, I needed to have a quality education, and which is why I joined engineering first. But when I got my call for National Defence Academy, I was already halfway through my second semester in engineering. So I gave my second sem exam, and the next day I joined National Defence Academy.
Oh, yes, that's a very good thing you did, because whatever is your passion from the, I think from the childhood, or maybe somebody must have been your role model. And can you tell me who was your role model? Like, how did you think about it?
Okay, thinking of role models, there was no specifically one person. It was actually a combination, a mosaic of various experiences that I've had through my childhood. I am from a very adventurous family. My mother and my father both are trekkers. My father has been part of the first civilian expedition which has summited Mount Everest from India. So I have always had that adventurous way of life, and I wanted to continue that. Now, continuing that while also doing service to the nation was something that only army could provide me at that time. Moreover, I've always been a little more biased towards army movies, army people. I have been watching news, I have been watching movies, I have been having games of that sort, which is why over a period of time, there was only one option left for me where I thought that I could be myself and be accepted the way I am, which was obviously Indian Army.
Wonderful. Yes. I like the thing that you said, that you accepted the way you are. So, not getting bogged down with what people are saying or what everybody else is doing. You did what you wanted to do. And that's why that explains why you left engineering when you got into NDA.
Yes.
We always organize a trip to NDA. Only last, I think during the COVID time, from that time onwards, the visits were stopped, and we are again taking our students to the Defense Academy in Khadagwasla on 10th of September, and we hope that more and more students join in, because this is a rare opportunity. And
Yes.
when they go there and see themselves, they are shown some movies and they interact with soldiers over there, and I think that will have some effect on them.
Definitely, definitely.
As you
Moreover,
have,
if we see, earlier I used to think that Indian Army service per se was only about fighting, fighting, and fighting. But once we joined in, and once I came in, I started living in this specific environment. I came to know that it was an all-round experience. Anybody who wants to be an engineer can be an engineer and then join army, or can join army and then be an engineer again. So there are various avenues for engineers, for accountants, for logisticians. In fact, there are hardly one or two professions which are not followed by army officers within the organization itself. Considering that this organization is a self-sustained organization, it doesn't need any external help. So we have all professions and all kinds of people working within the army. So it's an avenue, it's a dream. And with the advent of the current Agniveer policy, there are people who can only join for 5 years, do their bit for the nation, and come back and then again join the society.
Yes, I was going to come to that also. That it's not that just after 12th, but later on also, if you feel and you can, come from various means. So maybe you can elaborate little more on that, because just now you said that only 350 get admitted into the NDA, which is highly rated and
Yes, sir.
very competitive. It's not easy.
Yes, sir.
You have to work very hard. I have heard about SSB, the inductions that happen, which is again very. They have a different, altogether different criterias and different way of.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You can throw some light on that. What are the other ways?
Yes.
Just now you mentioned some, so please.
So if we have to join army, the avenues start from when you are in 5th standard. From 5th standard onwards, you can join different sainik schools which are in each state, or you can join the Rashtriya military schools which are spread throughout the country. The next chance that you get is in your 8th standard, when you can join the Rashtriya Indian Military College (RIMC), which is in Dehradun. It starts from 8 onwards. Even sainik schools, Rashtriya military schools, and RIMC, all three of them prepare these students for entrance into National Defence Academy. They are basically preparation schools. Then you get an opportunity after your 12th standard. You have to start appearing for exams in your 11th standard vacations between 11th and 12th. The entire selection procedure takes about a year. So you have to give an exam, after which you are selected for an SSB interview. Although the name says interview, it is actually a SSB complete selection process which spans good about 6 to 7 days, where any individual student or any individual is assessed for a variety of factors, starting from their psychological minds to their tactical minds, their physical fitnesses. And we have trained professionals, trained psychologists, trained officers who see and who analyze and assess people for their specific requirements. So they say that people who come into the Indian Army are cream of the cream. So that is what happens. Out of the 6 or 7 lakh students who appear in the examination, only about 7,000 or 8,000 people get to appear in the SSB. And after the SSB, there are various stages of eliminations. You have your initial written test where if you are eliminated, then you have next 3-4 days of test where you are tested for your command abilities, your thinking abilities, quick thinking, strategic thinking, long-term thinking, your physical fitnesses, the public speaking, and various other factors. After that, you have an elimination where at a conference level, all these different assessors, they sit together and they discuss who is fit for army and who is not. Then we go on, the next stage is the medical. If we are fit, deemed fit by the conference, then we go for our medicals. We have to pass certain stringent medical standards. If we are fit in that, then again after that elimination, then comes out a merit list. And from that merit list of about 500 people, around 350 are selected. So the similar process is carried out at all stages. However, after 12th standard, it's not only NDA, you can also join technical channels like College of Military Engineering. So you have another 4 years of course where parallelly you can join CMEs for inducting into Army, and similarly for Navy. So these are the avenues till 12th standard. After graduation, you have the university entry schemes. You have the CDAC, that is Combined Defense Services Examinations. And after graduation, you can join the Indian Military Academy, which is situated in Dehradun, or the Officers Training Academy, which is situated in Chennai for Army. You can join the Air Force Academy, which is situated in Secunderabad for Air Force, or the Indian Naval Academy, which is situated in Azimala for Navy. So these are the avenues which open up after your graduation.
Okay.
So your graduation marks and what subjects you are taking in your graduation matter in that. Subsequently, even if you are not able to make it through this, then there's an option of something called as territorial army, which is a paramilitary force, similar to army in its functioning, but not exactly similar in its operations or its tasks. And that option is available till you are 30 years of age. 40 years of age, correction, 40 years of age, where you can choose to serve a limited period, like 6 months you serve in territorial army, 6 months you can come back and do your particular job or business, and then again 6 months you can do. This cycle continues. So that's an option for someone who doesn't want to dedicate his complete time within the organization and wants to follow their own business passion or any other passion that they have.
So for that paramilitary also you have this stringent tests and entrances.
You have an examination and you have an interview for that as well. And yes, the stringency remains the same because doesn't matter whether we are joining after 12 standard or we are joining at 30 years of age. The responsibility which rests upon the shoulders of the officers, it is still the same.
Yes.
However, after 12th standard, we have about 4 years of training before we become officers. So if you have to look at it from their point of view, they think that after 12th standard, they have 4 years to train us. So they look for qualities which they can further improve upon. But after graduation, when we will be directly becoming officers, they are already looking for those qualities which have to be within ourselves. So as and when your age grows and when you're entering army at a later stage, those qualities have to be already imbibed in you so that they can assess you accordingly.
Oh yes, that was a learning from me too. I didn't know that you can go up to 40 years of age and keep on
Yes.
trying to be for 6 months also. Good information. So now let us come to the question which everybody has in their mind, and I'm sure they must be thinking कि अभी तक मैम ने पूछा ही नहीं. So coming to that important question, when and how did you meet Sonia?
I think she can take this question better than me.
Okay, Sonia. Yes.
So, I joined the army in 2007. Yeah, hi. Hello. Good afternoon, ma'am. So,
Good afternoon.
I joined the army in 2017, and along with me, my post, I was posted in a place called Sri Ganganagar, which is in Rajasthan. My coach Jay. So I was obviously being a course mate. I've been in touch with her constantly. So my course mate had a small inkling in her mind that every time she would talk to me, she was reminded of Jay, and every time she would talk to Jay, who is also a subaltern. Subaltern means that when you are newly inducted into the service, there is the next senior officer who is there in your battalion. He helps you, trains you. He is like your mentor throughout about 2 years of time, wherein you get comfortable and get engaged in the army life. So he was her mentor, which is also by design and by default. So, and of course they were close friends. So talking to him, she would think about me. So one day she gave us both individual calls, and she said that there is this person. I would like you to just take their number and meet. And that is how our numbers were exchanged. But I was not interested at that time in meeting somebody. At the same time, he was 3.5 years senior. So I was a little finicky about talking to a senior officer by myself. But he was very upfront, and he messaged me and started talking. It took us about 10 days. My friend's hunch was very, very right. We had a very, very similar mindset with regard to army and everything. So that's how we met, and the rest is history.
Yes, Sonia, I was going through your the qualifications, and I was again amazed. Like when somebody told Jay is in army, I was surprised. In the same way, when I read your training about your qualifications, like you have done BA in political science, and then you have a PG diploma in military science and defense studies and supply chain management. All this you have done diploma in material management. All this you did after joining the army, or you had already done that and then? So I would basically like to know how you thought of coming to army, because still today girls going to army is not that common. Yeah. Okay.
So I first wanted to become an IAS officer. I wanted to give the UPSC examinations, and I was prepared on the same lines. That is why even after getting really good marks in my 10th standard, after a lot of resistance from my family. I took arts in my 11th and 12th standard because I wanted to do political science and go for UPSC. Following that, I also started doing my graduation. I had no plans of joining the army till I was 18 years of age, and till my graduation year had already started, first year of my graduation. I went to Northeast on a study tour as preparation for UPSC examination because I wanted to go and study the issues on ground in that place.
Okay.
There I came across the army for the first time, and I came across women officers for the first time. I myself, again, just like Jay, I've had a history of adventure. I've been mountaineering. I've always had half 1 foot out of the door, is that's what we mean. So every time I used to think that yes, I'm going to be an IAS officer, I used to always have it at the back of my mind that I will have to sit in an office and do a 9 to 5 kind of job and file around. So somewhere I was thinking that my adventurous life will have to be bogged down. But when I came across army officers who are women, I realized that I can also serve the country, which was my main purpose, and I can also have an adventurous life. At that time, I was told about CDS and the fact that I just needed to have a graduation degree to attempt the CDS and join OTA. Of course, to join Air Force Academy or the Naval Academy, you need physics and science, which I was not aware of in your 11th and 12th standard. So I was too late to join anything like Air Force or Navy, but of course I could join the Army. So that's where my entire journey and search towards being an Army officer began.
Wonderful to know that because so I wanted to also ask you little to tell our students little more about OTA and also CDS.
Yes. Okay, so the CDS is basically an examination which you can give from the age of 21 to 25. The basic qualification you need is graduation.
Okay.
For CDS, you can be any graduate.
Okay.
You can be an engineer also, you can be an architect also, you can be a lawyer also, you can give the CDS. There are 3 tests in that. One is the GK, one is the English test, and the third is the maths test. If you want to join the IMA or the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy, you have to give all 3 exams. But if you want to join NDA, you only have to give the GK exam and the English exam. You are exempted from the maths examination because that makes you a non-technical officer. If you give the maths examination, then your avenue opens to join the IME also, the Indian Military Academy. Now, the difference simply is that the entry into IMA makes you a permanent commission officer. The entry into OTA makes you a short service commission officer where you have a bond of only 10 years, extendable up to 14 years, and only in your 9th year of service, you will find out if you can serve permanently throughout your life or you will have to retire in 10 or 14 years. That is the difference, the main difference between OTA and IMA. The CDS, where generally it needs about preparation of approximately 1 year. The GK paper is exactly like the preliminary paper of civil services examination. It is that tough. So the CDS examination, again, there are about 14 to 15 lakh people who attempt the written test, and there are about approximately 300 who finally qualify in the CDS. There are 2 batches a year, so approximately 300 people are chosen in 6 months' time. So that is again a very, very short, very, very small list of people who can clear. Like Jay said, that once you finish your graduation, your personality is already developed. So the testing procedure is much more stringent because there they don't have an option of molding you. You are already your personality, you're already molded, your graduation is complete, your own person. So the process of selecting you becomes much, much more difficult.
Definitely. So, another question which everybody wants, I'm sure, to know from you, being a girl, how difficult or how easy or how challenging it was, because how many girls were there in your batch?
So there were only 32 girls in my batch when I started training first.
Out of 300?
Out of 320.
340. 20. Okay. Only 32. Oh my God.
32 girls.
So tell us about your challenges or ease of it, both.
Okay, so what I realized, my first thing, or my first experience, or my first mindset in the army was that you have to forget and you have to let go the fact that you are any different because you're a girl. You join because you want to serve the country, and you join because you're an officer. The word officer has no gender, it has no sex, it has no uh, caste, it has no discrimination or bias of any kind. And that, I think, is the beauty of being an army officer, because you just have to decide for yourself that there is no difference. And trust me, it's been almost 6 years of my service. There is no difference
No
for me.
difference.
There are challenges, but everybody faces challenges. And um, being a patriarchal society, which is of course growing much, much, very, very fast towards being egalitarian, the army is also probably a smaller version of the society that it comes from. So there are always going to be issues. But like I always have thought that you should just leave your bias and the feeling that you have that, oh my god, can this happen because I'm a girl? Oh my god, this is happening with me because I'm a girl. Just leave that at home. Just concentrate on your work, keep doing, keep giving your best, and everything works out. This particular motto has always worked for me, and I think it will work for a lot of girls who also want to do it.
Very rightly said that the word officer does not have a gender or a bias. I'm so happy to hear this. And I really, nowadays, I feel that we should not have the, quotas and other things forever. Everything, the field should be level for
Exactly.
everything. And girls have to come out of that mindset that I'm a girl, so I need some
Yes.
protection or some help or support. Girls are strong enough to provide support to 10 others. Okay, that was nice to hear, Sonia. And
Hundreds of others. Army is an example.
Yeah.
army is an example, yes. And now they have allowed navy, and earlier they would not take in the navy also, but now everything is allowed there too. And another learning that I had was that if you want to go into navy and air force, you should be having science. Yes. So all the girls
Yes.
studying at TP
Yes.
Bhatia College of Science, you can keep this in your mind that you have another option of going into army through various means, not just after 12th, but even after finishing your graduation, even up till the age of 40, like in the paramilitary, you can try if you have that passion in you. Both of you, I can see that you have made the passion your profession, and that is why
Yes.
you are enjoying what you're doing. Another question that I have
Definitely.
in my mind is, Jay and Sonia, that you both are posted in the same posting, or you also get different postings?
We get different postings, but after we are married, if we are married within the services, there are certain we can apply for similar postings.
Okay.
However, there's no guarantee that we can get it, because in the end, we are here to serve the nation. The organizational and the nation's interest stands absolute. So, if there's an opportunity where they can accommodate us, or someone of my skills and her skills into the same station, they obviously help us doing that, because for them, the more at peace that we are as officers or as soldiers serving the nation, it is easier for us to do our job. But notwithstanding that, had we not been posted into the same station, we would have still given our best.
Yes, so I think they also must be looking at it. If you are peaceful together, then they will post you together. If it disturbs you, then it doesn't help them also.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Our performance.
The posting in army, it is always profile based. So I have a certain profile, I have certain qualifications. She has certain different qualifications. After we will be completing our posting here. They'll look at us at the experience that we have gained and how they can use that experience to further the nation building or further the organizational interests. Right. So in that case, it may happen that we may be posted to different stations, but wherever we are, it would definitely be the best for the organization and the nation.
That's true. So that's how our topic was: duty, sacrifice, resilience. Yes, and Bharat ke Veer Sainik hashtag. So duty comes first and family later. Now I would like to ask you, Jay. Uh, can you do you remember your first day on duty? Are there any memories you would like to share with children, students out there? Any memories, any
So yes,
nostalgic?
definitely. But
Sitting back.
that day is it's been about 13 years since my first day in National Defence Academy. But that day is still very vividly still there in my mind. It was 21st of June in 2010. That was my joining date in National Defence Academy. I had left from Mumbai, reached Pune approximately at lunchtime. We went there, I reported, I did my documentation, and the first place that they sent me, as it is almost very accurately depicted in the movies, was the barber shop. We went to the barber shop, and the first thing that they did is they made me completely bald. Like, if you don't have time to look after your own hair, then you concentrate on your training. So that was how my first day was. I was there, I did my documentation, took my stuff, went to my room, said goodbye to your parents, and that's how the journey started.
Wonderful. And you, Sonia?
I joined about 10 days late because I was, in fact, the year that I joined, I was merit out. So I joined I got a call 7 days after training already started. I had already given up that this year I've not made it and I should give the next attempt. But one of the women also who was supposed to join did not join because of some of her personal reasons, and I was next in seniority. So I got a call after 7 days, and they gave me 2 days time to join. So I did it the other way around. I knew that they were going to cut my hair off. So as soon as I got the call, I first went to the barber shop, cut my own hair off. I had long waist length hair, cut my own hair off, and packed my bags, and within 2 days I was at OTA. When I joined, training was already 10 days. They were already into 10 days of training. So everybody else was way ahead of me. 10 days in OTA is a very long time because your entire training is only 11 months. So everything is truncated and everything moves very fast. So it took me about a month to get at the level of my postmates who had already passed 10 days of training more than me. I was completely lost and I was smiling. So the first thing that I remember was being shouted at and punished for smiling.
Okay.
The first thing that I was taught is that as a cadet, you are not supposed to smile.
Okay.
So for the next 11 months, my face was just like this. And it was a big effort because I'm generally a person who smiles a lot. So I remember that about my first day.
So, seriously, as a cadet, you cannot smile, or only while your training is going on, at that time you cannot smile?
No, no, it's not a
a-
diktat or it's
yeah.
not a rule that you're not allowed to smile, but it is one of these small unwritten rules which are happening. If you're smiling too much, that means you're enjoying the training. That means the training is not hard enough for you. And if I'm coming in with the army and the training is supposed to prepare me for the real life situations which are going to come, then the training is supposed to be the hardest thing that I have ever done. There are still, to this day, there are officers who have completed 15, 20 and 30 years of service who still remember their training days, and they have a little solace or consolation in the fact that I can go through whatever I'm going through today because I have done worse things in my training.
So it's part of the training again. Not smiling, because it is again, in my understanding, not smiling is also part of uniform. Your
Yeah.
smile makes you different. But when you are in the uniform, when you are standing with your postmate or with your team, you are part of that team. So when you don't smile, you become part of the uniform is complete. It is the other way around again in army. When you are outside in the civil world, your smile completes your outfit. And in the army, the lack of your smile completes your uniform.
Correct. Yeah, when during the small parades also we have to teach students not to, when they are offering salute and all, and they look at when आपकी आँख मिलती है तो they smile, and we have to teach them, no, you cannot show off any emotions or any expressions while
Exactly.
in the parade. And so that's a part of disciplining, I guess, the way you have to keep your
Yes.
emotions
Yes.
to yourself. And everything is like the disciplining. I think not smiling means, as Jay rightly said, that you are constantly struggling with the harshness of the training, because until then, unless you challenge your body, you cannot reach to that level. I have
We do
always
not have to keep our emotions in check. Obviously, we get emotional, we are humans, and obviously emotions do play a very huge part in our decision making progress, but we also have to consider the fact that now I'm not just responsible for myself, I'll be having 100 or 150 or 200 people under me. So there might be a time when my emotions would say one thing, however logic and tactics and strategy would say another. So it is at that time I have to ensure that I do what is good for them or for the situation rather than my own emotions. So that is how the discipline part comes into play.
Yes, and I guess that is the main difference between a civilian's life and a army man's life. Yes, the discipline. I think discipline that
Yeah,
is
discipline does.
that
It's a bedrock of military.
yes, remarkably difference. We can say an army person, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he conducts himself, puts him at another level compared to a layman or a civilian. And I firmly believe, like when the government started this Agniveer concept, and it has been implemented, I would say that in my hearts of my hearts, I too have a desire that each and every student should undergo some part like NCC, or there are different cadet trainings are available, like RSP is there, Scouts and Guides are there. Each and every student should be a part of it, at least for few years of their life, for missional life. It does make a difference. Yes.
It's definitely.
And I want to ask you, Jay. I have heard so many times. Some of them have actually withdrawn during their training days and gone back, left um, their seat and went back. Have you seen any such case, and what was the reason?
Yes, I have seen such cases. So when I started my training, we were approximately 380 cadets in National Defense Academy. There are a variety of reasons why this might happen. Sometimes there are medical reasons. Now, we undergo some injury or some fracture or something of the sort, due to which they cannot continue their training. So that is why they have to be medically boarded or withdrawn. Sometimes what happens, people they think that yes, I want to go to army. They do their exam, they join their academies, but then they realize that maybe army is not the way of life for them. It is not the way they thought it would be. Maybe they have been motivated by people or by movies, and certain movies they are not able to show the truth. So yeah, it is different from what they might have envisioned. So that is why they withdraw, and sometimes it is just too difficult. So they withdraw. So I have seen certain cases, everybody does, and it is not just in the army, we do see it in our daily lives as well. People who take science, for example, in 11, 12, then they realize that maybe science is not the way for them. But then sometimes it is too late for them to stop, or sometimes they can change. And it is at every stage of life, whether it is from 11 to 12 or in graduation, after graduation, when we take a job profiles, or the businesses that we are doing. So certain instances, these kind of instances happen everywhere, and I think it is just acceptable.
Yes.
It's not necessary that if they could not do this, they can't do something else in a much better way. I met an IRS officer who attempted as much as he could, but did not clear the SSB exam. But the first attempt that he gave the UPSC, he became an IRS. So it really depends, and people take some time to find themselves at times. That is what I have seen. I had lady cadets who have left after being toppers in the merit list and everything. But once they join, they realize that that is not something that they can do, and they need to find themselves more. So that even if that does happen, it can happen to anybody, and people should not get bogged down by it. Find themselves, find out what they can do better. Serving the country does not necessarily mean that you just have to join the army or do something or the other. Find what you can do best and give your best in that. That is also serving the country.
Yes, yes, I think you very rightly pointed out that we have to know ourselves. What do we want? Like you, both of you followed your passion because you wanted it right from the beginning. Like both of you said that I knew in the hearts of my heart that I want to go there. So, in spite of following a different line of study, you still had that in your mind, and the moment you got a chance, you went for it. So I think this is a very good message for all the students out there, that you have to first know yourself. What do you want? What do you like? What would you love to do?
Yes.
Don't just listen to others and make an opinion. think about yourself. And today's generation is very fortunate that you have uh, uh, all kinds of information available in your palm, and you have to
Yes.
just click a few buttons and you can find out about the things. I remember a girl who cracked a very coveted seat and joined an aided medical college, and the day one of her practical she fainted on seeing the blood. She was not prepared for that because she did not educate herself enough what to expect when to become a doctor.
Yes.
So she had to come out of it because she realized at first time that I can't stand blood or a dead body. So that is what is needed, that you have to first find out what you really want. Use your digital, the internet, the content that you is available, the information which is so easily freely available. Use it to empower yourself and then plan your life. I think I want to come to the last and the most important question, and after that, I will request anybody from the viewers. There are students in the computer lab, there are teachers. Shailendra Gupta sir is there, others are there, Ashish sir, Sameer sir is there. If you have anything to say or ask anything to both of them, you all can unmute yourself and do it. Then my last question to you is, I want to know how your parents think about it. I'm sure they must be very proud of you now, but when you decided to go for that, especially Sonia, uh, what kind of challenges did you face, or did you face a lot of support? And anything that you would like to share, and this is also a day to say thanks to your parents for bringing up you like this, the way you are. Yes. Yes, Sonia.
So, my mother has always been very supportive since the time I said that I want to join the army. My father took about 1.5 years to get convinced. He was very proud of me when I used to say as a child that I want to become an IAS officer. But he also was very comfortable with it because it was a safe profession. The moment I said that, no, I don't want to do this, I want to serve the country only through the army. His father mode was activated, and he was very, very worried as to how I'm going to be able to do it with regard to security. He did not have any other problem as such. It was only, will my daughter be safe? That was the only thing he had. But I should give him the credit that he did his own research. He talked to a number of people. He talked to officers. He talked to IAS officers. He talked to IPS officers. He found out whatever he could about the army and the life in the army as such. And it took him some time, but it also really helped that I cleared the SSB. And he realized, okay, that she not just that she wants to do it, she has it in her and she's cleared the exam. That she can take care of herself and she can do it. That was the final straw, and then after that he has had no doubts. And as of now, it's been 6 years, but I still ask them to. But every time I'm home, I ask them to calm down and relax and get used to the fact that they have an army officer in the family, but they're still not over it. It's like having a sort of celebration every time you're back home. You just want to go and relax, but they only want to celebrate you. So that is wonderful to see. But over the years, I've also realized what a big sacrifice it is. What a big sacrifice it is for parents who love you, who dote on you, who treat you like a princess, bring you up with the best of the best, and then just let you go and serve the country, always knowing that they will never be first after that. So, in fact, on my wedding day, in my Vidam, nobody cried. And my father said this thing. He was like, the day you joined, teri vidai to ho gayi thi. Now, what is the difference? So, that is how it is. And yes, I would like to give a very, very special thanks to my family, our family, letting us be ourselves and do this, because I know that every single day it is very, very difficult for them, that we are away and we will always be away.
Yes. Very profound sharing, Sonia. Jay?
Thank you.
Well, in my case, I have always been a very naughty, mischievous kind of guy. Since my childhood, I have always been running around, falling. There has been hardly few days, you can count on your fingers, in my childhood that I did not come home where I was not hurt. There was somewhere or the other I was not bleeding. So all that energy, all that nervous energy had to be channeled somewhere, and everyone was of the similar opinion that army is the only place this guy can go. I was also of the opinion that army is the only place I want to do. So it was all their collective blessings, collective manifestation that helped me. It was constant motivation from their side. Yes, you can do this, you can do that. It was constant support from my parents, from my relatives, from my friends, from my teachers. Everyone had constantly been at my side, at my back, and at my front, always helping me to go and walk the path that I decided that I wanted to do for myself. And it was obviously, and it, I cannot just say that it was all me. I cannot take a credit. In fact, out of the entire effort that has gone for me to join the army and for me to be successful right now in army, hardly 2 or 3% goes to me. It is all my seniors, juniors, my parents, my relatives, my friends, and now Sonia. That is all goes to.
Wonderful, and it's really it looks so nice to see both of you in uniform and being together there. And it will be a great pleasure when both of you come to Mumbai. Please visit the college. Please meet students one on one, and maybe if some whenever you are here, please keep us informed. Yes. Now I'll request viewers.
Yes,
If
Thank you so
anybody,
much.
yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
if anybody wants to ask anything to both of them, you can unmute yourself. Yes. Ashish sir, do you have students there with you? You can please um, you can show your video and you can ask anything if you have to ask. We have last 5-10 minutes. Yes, Ashish sir. Please introduce yourself and then you speak. Okay, student? We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Put the mic on, I think. Computer mic. Jay, I can see some people here who might be related to you, like Keni.
Yes,
and-
yes.
Yes. Our family and friends have apparently joined in
Oh.
also.
So nice of you and welcomed all of you. And you can see from our faces how proud we are feeling to have Jay and
Yes.
Sonia with us today. And thanks to all the family for bringing up such beautiful children. Okay, anybody else? I think they have some issue with their mics. Anyone else can have a question. And let me tell you, Jay, we have with us Miss Teja Roja, who is a director and principal of a school in Jalgaon, and she happened to be with me, and she was asking me if you could guide their children in their school online someday when you're free. She would invite you, so I will share her contact with you. So
Definitely.
she will contact you. Thank you. Because some of the guidance only you can tell us, because there are so many things, although we all are educators here, but there are still certain things which are not known, and children love to talk when they see somebody in person like that. Okay, I guess anybody else would like to talk? If not, then we can wind up. Samir sir, I saw you unmuting yourself.
Video on?
Video is not on, Samir sir. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Raj.
I saw just let there be everyone here. Good.
Other phones should be kept away so that there is no the sound is clear.
दिख रहा है?
Yes, please carry on.
You can ask.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Rajeshwari Muthukumar. I
Hello.
wanted to ask a question that if some disaster happens in our country, it is always that military helps us. But is there any way that we can help?
That's a very insightful question. But first, let me assure you, it is not always the military. We have a very nice, well-defined civil infrastructure in place. We have our state agencies, we have our national agencies, we have national disaster management forces. They all come into play whenever any disaster strikes, any small disaster strikes. However, whenever there's a big disaster, there are floods happening, or there are flash floods happening, there are tornadoes coming, then it is the duty of each and every one of us to contribute in any way that we can, which is why military comes in at that time, because we cannot just sit by idly and look at our nation struggling or look at our nation trying to fend for itself. Speaking of you at your level, say Mumbai is prone to heavy rainfall. So at that time, there are always people around who you can help. There are people around that you can feed. There are people around that you can guide. There are people around that you can educate. There are animals around that you can help. So every small bit helps. You are not earning as of right now. Whenever you start earning, you can start contributing to certain NGOs, certain organizations which can do this social work on your behalf, so that you can concentrate on what you are doing and your bit is not ignored in the social work part. So yes, you can always help, you can always ask for guidance. There are people around, trained individuals who can tell you how to go about it. There are people in the army, there are people within your respective states, respective cities, respective schools as well, who can guide you better as what your specific area or the specific state needs. And you can help in that way if possible. However, I feel that educating yourself and passing on that knowledge to someone else before the disaster strikes is the best way that you can help anyone.
Yes. We all can help our country by just bringing that change which is needed in our own self. And for Mumbai rains, I have only one thing to say to all of us: stop using plastic, especially the plastic which is non-recyclable. And if we all stop using it, I think there will be great help that we can do as civilians towards managing disasters.
Exactly.
And it is all our faults that results into catastrophes, and then we say why government is not doing anything. We have to first look at ourselves, what we are doing. So here we have Shailendra Gupta sir. Sir, you have anything to talk to Jay and Sonia?
Jay,
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. Jay, I'm so happy and proud to see you here. My chest thumbs wide, and I'm so proud to say that you are TP Bhatia students. The students are waving, saying hi. Say hi, everyone. Hello. Okay, everyone. Jay, there is one more student who wants to ask a question. Just introduce yourself and ask.
Hello, I am Saish Baldikar. So, we express our gratitude towards the Indian Army. So, today is Kargil Vijay Diwas Day. So, do you think that the Kargil kind of situation might take place again?
I'm sorry, pardon. Can you just repeat the question once more?
Today is the Kargil Vijay Diwas Day. So, do you think that this kind of situation might occur again?
Okay, see, we have to understand that we live in a society which is governed by humans, and humans are governed by their desires and ambitions, right? So, as a army officer in this nation, we have our certain boundaries, and it is our job as Indian Army to safeguard those territorial integrities. Yes, there is definitely a possibility that such thing can happen in the future. I cannot say it won't happen. I cannot say it will happen, but it is my job and it is the job of everybody within the army to be prepared for such an eventuality. If we start being delusional with the fact that certain cases won't happen, then we'll never be ready for them when they come. As they say in the army, and as they should say everywhere else, you should always be prepared for the worst case scenario, and you should always perform as a best case scenario. So yeah, territorially speaking, such things can happen. It's an ambitious, humans are have ambitions everywhere. They have certain desires. They can always take steps which might not be good for humanity, but rest be assured that it will be fine.
We all had reached an age and a point as civilians, at least when I was a student, when to think that conventional war, like it was before up till 1999, will not happen now because of technology, because of growing trade relations, and because of globalization. Economy is growing so much, and economy is depending on war. But then Russia, Ukraine happened, and our eyes have opened. So it is possible. Anything is possible. Like Jay said, we always prepare for, but hope for the best.
Yes, I think once we had some similar kind of program where the person said, the army officer, he said that if you think that at present war is not going on, it's not true. War is constantly going on somewhere or the other, and everybody is affected by that, especially army. So I think as civilians, we also see we are every day facing challenges, whether it is concerned with the environment, whether it is concerned with politics, whether it is concerned with education system. This is also a war which we are all facing, isn't it? But here, as army persons, yes, as Jay and Sonia said, that we have to be prepared every moment, as if anytime it will be announced and we have to just get up and go.
But we also have to understand that the war is not always about boundaries. There are wars that people are fighting on a daily basis. There's a war against illiteracy. There's a war against environmental pollution. There's a war against corruption. There's a war against destroying the nature. So there are multiple wars which are happening at multiple fronts and multiple levels, in which all of us are a part of it. For me, a war might be defined in a certain way. For you, the war might be defined in a different way. And it is you who is fighting that war. It is you who is giving your bit for that specific skirmish.
Wonderful, wonderful said, and I think this was a wonderful last quote from you about this, that we all should be always ready for a war which is happening all around us, and education is the best defense, I would say. Education is the best tool that we have in our hands to fight any war that comes up anywhere. So Shailendra sir, do you have anything else, or shall we wind up? Do you have something else? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. This is for Jay. Jay, you have been inspiring the kids. The kids sitting here are actually in an awe that looking at you, your uniform, they feel like they're eager enough to, they cannot wait to visit the NDA Academy. We have a tour planned in month of October, and the children
September.
are actually very eager
September.
that they want to visit that. And there are many young children, those who want to talk to you, but we can't take too many questions. There is another child who wants to talk to you. Just a moment.
Hi, myself Varsha. Hi. I want to ask question to Sonia, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
So I want to ask you, was there any funny moment while training, or serving in Navy?
Army.
Yeah. Where?
I think of one funny moment.
Should I pardon?
No, you are clear. So and Sonia is going to answer that. Yes, Varsha.
I actually can't think of one funny moment coming at the top of my head, but I don't know, what do I say? Okay. So in academy, food is very, very important. We get very, very little time to eat. Breakfast is like 1.5 minutes and everything. So I've always I've gotten used to it now. 1.5 minutes if you get for breakfast, that means that you have to park your vehicle. We used to get cycles. You park your cycle, run to the mess, get whatever food you can grab, sit, and there is a complete etiquette to eating food. So I still remember the first time I had to use a knife and fork to cut bread and butter the bread and eat that bread with the knife and fork, and I had only 1.5 minutes. So it took me about 1 week's worth of hunger to finally decide that this is not something that I can do. So after 1 week of training and being hungry, I decided I'm just going to steal the bread from my table, steal 2 eggs, put them in my pocket in my combat uniform, and eat somewhere hiding in some corner. So every time we used to wash our clothes, the first thing that I used to do is empty my pockets and remove all the breadcrumbs and egg crumbs, and then wash the rest of the uniform. This is only one of the things. We had only one store cupboard and one fridge, which the entire, the whole floor, in fact, the whole building of LCs, lady cadets, were allowed to use. So a coursemate of mine used to write her name on the bottle of juice, which she used to buy, and keep it over there so that she can have it later. There were even post-its that this is Shreya's juice. Please don't steal Shreya's juice. Things like that. And we used to be so hungry and so thirsty that people used to obviously rob it. So things like that used to happen. The major fight that used to happen amongst ourselves was with regard to food. If it was somebody's birthday, at 12 o'clock at night, we used to get one cake and we were given 15 seconds to finish the cake. It was a 4 kg cake, and 15 seconds given to 30 people to finish the cake, and it did not need 15 seconds. We did not need 15 seconds. What was the so the word was dhava. Just say dhava, and if you just blink, the cake was gone. And no forks, no spoons, and no napkins are required. Just grab whatever you can get and eat it, because that was a delicacy, getting cake in academy. It was a big luxury. So we had things like that which were very funny in academy.
That was indeed very funny, and we also got a glimpse of your life there. Like, having breakfast in 1.5 minutes is like we lead really luxurious life. Students, please learn this from you. Don't bother your parents for breakfast and lunch. Eat decently whatever is given to you. Bring tiffin to school. Eat good food. Jay must be remembering, students don't like to bring tiffin to college.
I never used to bring a tiffin to college.
Poor parents,
I always used to eat in the canteen.
Poor parents are struggling to, in the morning they will make all the tiffin ka dabba for their loving children, and children don't want to eat it in the college. But look at this, 1.5 minutes and 30 seconds for cake. That was really funny. So I think you have given us a very good 1 hour, and I'm sure sare bacche, they must be thinking ye dil mange more. So you have to come to college. Whenever you are in Mumbai, please spare half a day for us, and it will be a great honor for us to welcome you here, both of you. And I can see Dhruv who has raised hand. Dhruv, do you have a question, or shall we finish it now? This will be our last question that we'll be taking. Dhruv, yes, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I want to ask Jay sir about how did he join? Is it the academy was NDA or IMA?
I joined through NDA. I gave my exam after my 12th standard, because for joining NDA, you have to be between 16 to 19 years of age when you join the academy, right?
Yes, sir.
Since academically, I was a little ahead. In my childhood, I had skipped one standard. So I was 1 year ahead. I couldn't appear. Generally, people appear for NDA examinations after their 11th standard final exams. So then it takes about a year for selection, and then as soon as you finish your 12th standard, you join the National Defence Academy. But I couldn't do that, so I gave my exam after my 12th standard, and instead of taking a drop of 1 year, I initially I had joined Bhatia College for BSc. Till this time, the CET results and the AIEEE results hadn't come out. So I joined Bhatia College for BSc Computer Science. I was actually good at computer science, and all credit goes to Shailendra sir, because Shailendra sir was my computer science teacher at that time. But then when my CET results and AIEEE results came out, so I then joined Atharva College in Chargok. I joined again in computer science engineering, and it took about a year for my entire SSB results and everything to come out. And when they came out, I had an option between continuing my engineering and joining National Defence Academy. So obviously, I went towards NDA and left engineering behind.
Okay, thank you. And once again, I thank you, Major Jay Keni and Captain Sonia Newaskar, for being with us with the TP Bhatia College of Science on this lovely day, which is called Kargil Vijay Diwas. And we hope to connect with you more and with more officers like you in future, and talk about duty, sacrifice, and resilience. And hashtag Bharat Ke Veer Sainik. Salute to you.
Thank you so
ma'am.
much. Thank you so much for giving us a platform where we could narrate our life story. And if we could motivate the students and, of course, everybody else who had joined us on this talk, it's a wonderful series that you have been doing, ma'am. And actually, it was very heartening to see so many students there and with all the professors. So there were all old memories coming back of computer lab, of canteen, of the schools, of bunking practicals and playing football in the ground and everything. But yes, I wouldn't say you should do it, but that's something that you should always experience. I also remember the time, ma'am, when we had gone to interview the vice chancellor university, where you were the one who had taken this. We were in 2008, I think, back in 2008. So all those memories, all those experiences have been helping us throughout. And this platform, I hope, would help the students now, because they are the generation who's coming up, and they are the generation who will be leading our country to this forefront.
Definitely. Thank you so much once again, and wish you all the best. May you just
Thank you, ma'am.
cross all the ranks and you go where you and may your passion take you where you want to go. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Goodbye. Hello, Sunita ma'am.